items from this year's Hall of Fame class and other legends of the game for charity. Head to NFL.com/auction. Time for the first ever Jags draft pick. Now their first Hall of Famer, Tony Boselli, led Jacksonville to the AFC Championship game in just their second year. He waited a long time, his 16th year of eligibility.
And they did so twice in 4 years as an expansion team under Tom Coughlin. And every once in a while you have a debate because players have such brilliant careers but cut short by injury. I'm thinking of Terrell Davis and even Gale Sayers and Dwight Stevenson of the Dolphins, and Tony Boselli falls under that category. He was a member of the All-Decades team in 1990.
You know, he waited so long to get in. He said each time he found himself being a counselor to the rest of his family. Like, it's okay, you know, it's okay. He believes it should be hard to get in. Back to Boom.
First man ever selected in the NFL draft by the Jacksonville Jaguars back in 1995 was Tony Boselli. And they play in Duval County, yes? Yes, sir, yes, ma'am. It is only fitting that Tony is the first from that franchise to be inducted here into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The scouting report on the second overall pick out of USC read 6'7", 324, light on his feet. That sounds almost impossible, doesn't it? Opposing defensive linemen wished that scouting report was not accurate. In the Jags' second year, they advanced to the AFC title game. As a wild card team, they won in Buffalo and they won in Denver. Two really tough places to win. In 1998, they won the division for the very first time, and Boselli, a tackle, was named the team's MVP. The next season, the Jags finished 14-2. For 5 straight seasons, Tony was selected to the Pro Bowl. Despite playing in only half of the decade, he was named to the NFL's All-Decade team of the 1990s. Then came the serious shoulder injury early in the 2001 season, and he ultimately would never play football again. A career cut short after just 91 games. All of them played with strength, with power, with determination, and the drive every Sunday, if possible, at tackle to play the perfect game. To present him today, a man who was in the huddle with Tony every day, quarterback Mark Brunell.
From the moment the Jacksonville Jaguars drafted him second overall in 1995, Tony Boselli bore the weight of great expectations.
Tony Boselli was a big name coming in, with him being the first pick ever in the history of the Jacksonville Jaguars. It was big. You know, on the first round picks, you hope that Tom Coughlin got it right. And it took about half a practice to figure out that he was the real deal and that he was going to be very, very good for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
1, 2, 3, 1! The USC product brought more than a name. He brought a mindset that helped lay the foundation for a franchise.
He wanted to absolutely dominate his opponent. That was a good game for Tony Boselli, and it happened more times than not. Just protecting the quarterback, yeah, that was pretty easy for him. But he was a fierce competitor, and he was not going to let anybody get to the quarterback.
Only a couple teams left in, anyone can win. You just got to go out and play.
He made us all better. He made me a better quarterback. He made the other 4 linemen on the field better. And that's not just on the field, it was off the field. He was a great example of really what greatness is.
Boselli's leadership paid instant dividends in his new city. He led the Jags to the AFC title game in the franchise's second season.
Takes the snap, turns, looking for Jimmy in the end zone. Touchdown Jaguars! Touchdown Jaguars! Touchdown Jaguars!
And in 1998, he was named team MVP as Jacksonville captured their first division title.
Tony's legacy goes far beyond just what he did on the football field. Tony he's way more than just the football player. he means certainly more to the city than just what he did on Sundays. This is something we all could celebrate in, because it was not just about football for Tony Boselli. He set his mind to being the best Jaguar he could be, and he did that. But he also set out to make sure that while he was here, he was going to make Jacksonville a better place, and he has done that.
Boselli's off-the-field achievements were matched by his stellar football resume, including 5 straight Pro Bowls, 3 straight first-team All-Pro nods, and selection to the NFL's All-Decade team of the 90s, despite only playing half of the decade.
Once in a lifetime. Let's get it done.
The passion that Tony had on the field really matches the passion he had and has off the field.
Be ready for that early.
When Tony sets his mind to something, when he is determined to accomplish something, whatever it is, whether it's on the field, off the field, then he's going to set out to do it, and he is diligent, hardworking, focused, and that same competitiveness, that same fierce competitiveness that we saw on the field, he's taken that into life.
Adding to that legacy is one more fitting honor, becoming the first Jaguar inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Let's go, Donnie. Come on, Donnie.
I am honored and privileged to present my best friend, Tony Boselli, for enshrinement into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Presenting Tony Boselli for enshrinement into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Mark Brunell.
Well, this is amazing. Thank you, Mark. What a great friend. I can't imagine being in better company as a member of the class of 2022. Offense, defense, coaching, and even officiating. My class has it all. To the families of Cliff Branch and Sam Mills, to Art McNally, who's at home, Richard Seymour, Bryant Young, Jacksonville's own, my Duval brother, Leroy Butler. I'm honored to call you guys family. There's nothing more important. There's nothing more powerful. The support and love of my family in all its forms throughout my 50 years is why I'm here today, as the first Jacksonville Jaguar to be welcomed as a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's a profound honor, and I thank the Hall for the privilege, and I thank you for allowing me to be your teammates. I was born on April 17, 1972, Don Bosco Anthony Boselli Jr., the first child born to Big Tony, that makes me Little Tony, my dad was about 6 foot tall, and Candy Boselli. From there, our family would grow and evolve. I'd become big brother to Jennifer, Michael, I know you're watching, brother, Liz and Lauren. Growing up, my siblings taught me a valuable lesson. It wasn't all about me. Our childhood was joyous. Despite our parents divorcing before we were teens, but as far as mom and dad were concerned, divorce was never meant to divide. Both would find new and beautiful people in their lives. My dad would marry Carla, and my mom would marry Fred, resulting in an extended and harmonious family that at all times included my Uncle Bud and Aunt Betty. My Uncle Bud was my dad's older brother by 22 years, which is why I really saw Bud and Betty more as grandparents. And they did grandparent things. I wish my Uncle Bud were alive so I could hug him and give him thanks for the role he served in my life. Without the influence of family during my early years, my life in football isn't happening. No way am I standing in front of you at this moment. But as a kid, when you're showered with love by everyone around you, anything was possible. So I set the bar high, real high, maybe too high. I wanted to be a quarterback in the NFL. Growing up in Colorado, I dreamed of playing for the Denver Broncos at Old Mile High Stadium. But really, my first goal was to suit up for Sam Pagano at Fairview High School, where my cousins, who were my role models, played. The problem was the first thing Coach Pagano did my sophomore year, literally in stretch, before we practiced, he ended my dreams of being a quarterback. I was destined to be an offensive lineman, but not before a short stint as a tight end on the sophomore team and water boy for the varsity. And I was a damn good water boy. Coach Pagano would shift me to the offensive line for my junior and senior seasons, quarterback to tight end, the short stint at water boy to the offensive line. Not the most glamorous path, but all credit to you, Coach. It was the right path. It was the path to the University of Southern California, where my football career would take flight and fight on, and my life would take shape. My first offensive line coach there was John Matsko. He would teach me how to pass block. He was tough-minded. He demanded a level of play, but he also taught me something else. He instilled in me the honor of playing offensive line at USC in the mold of Hall of Famers Ron Yeri, Ron Mix, Anthony Munoz, and Bruce Matthews. I was honored to call you guys fellow Trojans, and I'm humbled now to call you guys teammates on the greatest offensive line on the greatest team ever assembled. John Robinson would become my head coach for my final 2 seasons at USC, and he brought with him Mike Berry as the offensive line coach. Coach Robinson and Coach Berry would do something that I'm forever grateful for. They coached me hard. I mean, really hard, like miserably hard. They pulled something out of me that I had no idea even existed. It was tough, it was miserable at times, but you know what? Like all the people that God has put in my life, I would not have become the player or the man I am without them. My career had indeed taken flight at USC. Much more important, however, my life would take shape. Thanks to meeting Angie Ayler, my wife, best friend, counselor, supporter, and the world's greatest mom for 27 plus years. I want to thank Angie's parents, Ed and Nancy, and her siblings, Steve, Amy, and Jeff, for all your support and for not messing her up. Angie, you've been central in my life, in the journey I've taken as a football player, as a husband, and as a father. You've been with me since the beginning, encouraged me to take and to follow the right path. And to keep me on the right path, she actually married me. Angie was at my side when the expansion Jacksonville Jaguars selected me 2nd overall in the 1995 NFL Draft. But really, the greatest thing football has done for me is setting the stage for you, Angie, to be my wife. God gave me the opportunity to play the game I love. But outside Jesus dying for me, you're the greatest gift I've ever received. I thank you, and I love you. Angie and I are blessed, incredibly, to call Jacksonville our home. It's where four of our 5 children were born, and every one of them's been raised. It's a beautiful city where the Bosellis have made lifelong friends. Several of you here today. EM, I'm glad you made it. I'm indebted to our first owners, Wayne and Dolores Weaver. Thank you for bringing the NFL to Jacksonville and making me a Jaguar. And I'm grateful for our current owners, Shad and Ann Khan, Tony Khan, Shauna Khan, and team president, Mark Lamping. You have treated us as though we've been a part of your lives forever, just like family. And there's nothing more precious than family. To my Jaguars family, it all starts with Tom Coughlin, who, by the way, belongs on this stage really soon because there's not too many better coaches than him. Tom, you were a pain to play for at times, though. You were hard, you had high standards, a bunch of silly rules I never agreed with. You were difficult to play for, but you know what? I always respected you, and you made us winners. And I'm more grateful for you, Coach, with every passing year. And Tom, you and your family will always mean the world to Angie and I. Thank you, Coach. Mike Mazur was my first offensive line coach, and he's not here with us any longer. But boy, he was great. And he took a kid out of USC who thought he was pretty good and pushed him to be even better. I wish you were here to celebrate with me, Coach. And I had amazing teammates. I was so fortunate to play with so many great Jaguars, like Fred Taylor, who made me look good all the time, and Jimmy Smith, who not too many people could cover. And I hope one day both of them will have a chance to be in Canton. And I treasure the moments I shared with my brothers on the offensive line. Ben Coleman, who had my back at left guard, Leon Searcy, set the standard on the right side, and one of my best friends, Jeff Novak, who, by the way, is the only guy I ever backed up in the NFL, but most of the time he was busy making jokes and making me laugh. It's not an overstatement. To all my Jaguar teammates, coaches, and staff, you were all instrumental in my path to Canton. Guys like Dan Edwards, Mike Perkins, Jerry Palmieri, Mike Ryan, Drew Hampton, Tucker Petrie, and so many more. You were all essential to my personal success and emblematic of why our teams in Jacksonville reflected the very best values of our game. Your background, ethnicity, and beliefs and talents may differ, but when you report to work in the locker room, you're one. And in Jacksonville, our locker room and throughout our organization, we were one. Just a few minutes ago, a guy presented me, and he defines the concept of family for me as well. And him and I will always be one. He's my best friend, and that's Mark Brunell. You know, it was my job. I thought it was just to protect him as a quarterback, but it became evident really early that I was also protecting a great man of character. Mark, I'm honored that you presented me here today, and I thank you for your friendship. And I thank you, God, for all your gifts. It took a lot of hard work to get here, but I didn't make myself this size and athletic. It was you. I didn't ask for the people who you put in my life. You put the amazing people in my life. So to my friends, teammates, coaches, and staff, and even the local media, I guess, with a special appreciation to a couple guys who covered me. Sam Gavaris, Pete Prisco, John Osher, Gene Fournette, Dan Hickett, and Jeff Prosser. You guys bared the torch throughout my eligibility. And a couple guys I called games with every Sunday, Frank Frangie and Jeff Logman. Thank you, guys. And I thank God for football, and I thank God for the people of Jacksonville. And I had to get this in just one time. Duval! But above all, I thank God for family. Mom, Fred, Carla, Jennifer, Michael, Lauren, Liz, Uncle Bud, Aunt Betty, and all my cousins. Angie, my 5 amazing kids. Andrew, Adam, Ashley, Lexi, Ansley. But there's actually one more I want to talk about. I was born Don Bosco Anthony Boselli Jr. The best part of my name, though, is Junior. To my dad, Tony Boselli, Sr., whose brave fight with cancer was decided on May 31st, 2021, and whose impact on my childhood career can never be adequately expressed. Thank you, Dad. Thank you for everything. I'm happy you're in the comfort of God. I know you're here, but man, I wish you were here with me. I miss you, I love you, and on this, one of the greatest days of my life, I honor your memory and thank you for the greatest gift of all, and that's family. Thank you.
We talked about Tony's weight, and it was especially hard for Tony that he didn't get in last year because he knew his dad wasn't going to make it to this year. And his dad was so proud, but Tony's family had him tape a Hall of Fame message before he passed, just in case. And Tony said this week he couldn't bring himself to listen to it until this past Thursday morning. But you know what he said? He actually laughed listening to it more than he cried, and that's his dad. That was Big Tony. On the other side,